hereafter and hereafter. You know, I think that your statement, I found it quite encouraging. I once said to Issa in my moment of frustration that when the communists take over, we can renationalize. But for now, those who are managing the state are not competent to manage it. But when the communists that will have the capacity to manage takes over, just roll out a decree and nationalize as follows. For now, we have to live in the market, because the Chinese is a good example. But there are just 1 or 2 points I will make, and I will round up this. You know what I discredit privatization? And I think that is what the NSC research director referred to. I was, and I feel ashamed now when I look back, I stick out my neck to support the privatization of NEPA. We had a big fight within the NSC family because we debate. And I said, even the generator, even our lift to my office, I think it was 6th floor or 7th floor, whatever it was, we have to use privatized power called generator for the lift to work. To write a petition to Dangote to say, you must do XYZ in NTM, whatever. I have to put generator, otherwise the typewriter will not work, because it's not the old model Liberty typewriter. So I said, we're already practically privatized. But the attraction to me is that whereas when NEPA manage power, does it work? The same NEPA every year goes to the Ministry of Finance, make a case for public funds, they give them the money on the understanding that they will invest and there will be light. They take the money and will have no light. So it's double jeopardy. You take taxpayers' money and you return darkness. So whether they deliver services or not, because they are state-owned, the consumer is powerless. And I then assume, and I don't think irrationally, I assume that because the capitalist is driven by profit motive, he only makes profit when he provides services. So if he doesn't deliver power, he will make no money. This is the elementary thing behind the market-driven. But however, I never imagined that when the then government decided to privatize, that they handed over this asset precisely to those who know next to nothing about power generation, power distribution, etc., etc. And today, I never imagined that even myself, I will be compelled to pay electricity bill, not based on what I consume, but based on the estimate of the provider called Discos. Now, which is where the point Engineer Masud is making comes into labor, that rather than lamenting, you ought to insist that if you must sell as you have sold, no meter, no payment. You have the capacity to drive it, to ensure that if you don't give me power, you can't give me estimated bill. Even if you give me power, you can't give me estimated bill. There must be meter. And the process of producing this meter by itself will create jobs. But today the old privatization has been completely discredited as far as the power sector is concerned. The second one, Master, is the deregulation problem. I took half of the story because of lack of time. Soludo once said he wanted to peg Naira permanently, 125 Naira to $1 US. He was going to make it by way of law, whatever. Now, the crisis of the regulation that has also discredited is that an NSC needs to understand this leakage. If you continue to float the Naira, the regulation can only mean higher increase. No rational human being settles for a policy that only leads to increase. It doesn't come down, it doesn't come up. So right now, at $40, you are paying a Naira rate that is higher than when petrol crude was $80 or even $100. Why? Because at the time it was $100, exchange rate was about 116 Naira to the dollar. As recent as 200 or something. Now it is about 450, 460. So even if you keep the price of crude constant and the naira keep floating endlessly, looking for a destination it doesn't have, obviously you are never going to have stable oil prices. So between the extreme of market and administrative fixing, there has to be a level that can guarantee a measure of stability. Now that is a big problem. Doba Hotel in Kaduna is another one. Privatization that was just handed out to a private person, and today Doba is gone. But all of this discredits the principle, even as the principle has its own merit. Now I'm happy, Director, that you are talking about rule of origin, because that is at the heart of making Africa a dumping ground for imported goods that will now move freely, within our Africa countries. But my conclusion, NXC, I think you need to have, or I suggest that you have a conversation like this, because what is happening in the manufacturing textile sector is also affecting the leather sector, the chemical sector, the private sector. And this issue of Nigerian labor, which you emphasize, I think NSC should also have a clear-cut policy on it. We have prisoners working in construction industry in Nigeria. I will not elaborate. But you can do the research because you have a backup force. I don't have troops anymore. When I had troops, I will measure the name and I will mobilize my troops if they attack me. If they attack me now, I'm alone. You go to the construction sector today, in certain sector, depending on who is funding the project, you will find foreigners carrying cement. You find foreigners living in porter cabin. You find foreigners doing many jobs that Nigerian workers should be doing. You should not just lament this. And this is happening at a time where so many people are idle. You have to encourage the government not to allow people who lend us to also take away our jobs. It will require pushing. And it's not too difficult to push, because under the ILO and WTO rules of whatever, the prisoners are not supposed to be employed, not to talk of being employed in another country. There are existing international laws that you can follow. I want to thank you, Mr. Chairman, for mounting this program, and all the participants who have shown a lot of interest. I'm particularly encouraged that nobody has found an excuse to leave. And for the customer, I think he thought I was really personal to him. When I say it's not about money, the amount of money you collect is a reflection of our level of dependence on import. That is the point I was trying to make. You are not responsible for that. You are not. But I'm saying, if Nigeria was to stop importation of fabrics, and we decide to account for